Hey guys, welcome to my 164 NASCAR custom diecast workshop today. Nothing real special today, just gonna move a few of these cars forward that I'm working, and figured I'd video it for you guys and just show you some of the things that I'm working and some of the things that I encounter as I go through this. So let me get the camera down and show you guys what's going on today. So I'm working on this nose. Let me move this over here for now. Working on this nose of this Twix car, and you can see I cut it up. This final piece, I cut it up and I just put this piece on the Supra here, and this little Toyota logo. So this is one piece here, and the headlights I trimmed at an angle separately. So we'll go with these now, and trying to place on the car in the spot where this, the headlight is, of course, and obviously there's a big gap, like I showed in the other car I worked. There's a big gap here that I'll use the blue to clean up on. Like to get as much of the water out as possible, and I just wash my hands again, make sure they're completely clean, and then I kind of use my fingers like this, put them in the center of the decal to push the water out. And once it's in place, I kind of push on it pretty hard. Just press it into the die-cast body. Try to eliminate all the little ridges and things like that will happen. And you notice you've got to let the water slide decal sit in the water for a good few minutes. Don't rush it. Let the water, wet the decal. Not only, of course, where you separate the decal from the paper backing, but you want the water to really saturate the decal so that when you get it on the car, it will mold. It will, conform and be pliable. A lot of cases, I've got this micro sole setting solution that helps the decal soften. Really softens it a lot. But most of the time, you don't need it. You can just let it sit in the water, and then you just work it. And you can see how important it is to have clean hands, because my fingers are all over this thing, and I'm really grabbing it hard. And if my fingers were dirty or oily, greasy in any way, it's going to make the car look terrible. So you really want to make sure your fingers are clean. And I've said this before, you want to wash your hands with soap and water, pure soap, not any of the soap that has like lotion in it or anything like that, because that sure, that's good for your hands, but not if you're making decals or making die-cast cars, because you don't want any of that lotion or any of that stuff to transfer onto the car. Clean hands, very important. Alright, so now that I got this one in place, I want to make sure, yes, this one lines up with the die-cast body, but almost more importantly than that, I want it to be symmetrical with this one that's in place already. So yeah, so I want to get this distance here between the Supra here to here about the same there. And I'm going to pull it back just a little bit. Okay, right there. I don't know if you can see, there's like a little fruit fly that I've had the last couple of days flying around down here. I have no idea where he came from, but it's a little fruit fly somehow got in my basement, and he's been flying around bugging me. Okay, so I think I've got it in place where it looks symmetrical. Once you get it in place there, kind of press it. Kind of, push and kind of roll to one side to get the water to come out, get it to flatten. And just like the other one, so that I made, I've got to cut the blue to cover up this little seam here, and then and over here have a piece that runs down there, and then of course a piece across this front because it's uneven, and then I'll be able to put this one in place there. Okay, so not ready to do that just yet. Working this King car, and I wanted to show you one of the more, I don't want to say difficult things that I do, but it's getting these rear tail lights on some of these older cars, typically in the 2001, 2000, up to probably like 2006. Oops, that one's trash now. I forgot this King doesn't have the Ford logo on the back. And so, get this one out of the water. Maybe I can reuse it for something else if it dries. Let me set these over here. So on a lot of these older cars, it's got this fuel overflow, and it sticks out from the die-cast body. You can see that there. See that? And the tail light goes over top of it, and it's a pain because you have to press the decal hard over top of that, get it to conform. So I am going to use the micro sole, but I just put the decals in. I'll let them sit for a minute, and let that let the decal kind of set up, like I just said earlier. Kind of let it soften, and it's already, if you can see that, it's already able to be moved off of the paper. But to me, it's not soft enough yet to actually go on the car. So again, just a little bit of patience, and then can work this. All right, so while that's sitting in the water, I'm working this 2004 car, and I'm at the point of this car of where I'm ready to put these pieces in. So painted this, looks pretty good. Had a little mark on the hood, but I kind of rubbed it down, and the reason I'm not concerned about that is because the decal set, where are you? Where's my decal set for this car? Alright. Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. The decal set has a full hood decal. So even though I have like a little mark on the hood, as long as it's flat and smooth, I'm good. I don't have to worry about a little mark there because the decal will cover it. Oh, I almost forgot. The cowl on this is black. So before I put the glass in, I want to mark this black. It's so much easier to do it now. It looks so much better when you get that before. And I tell you what, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna get this kind of halfway done, and then I can come back and do it later. Make sure I don't have any overflow. So like that, and that way I can put the pieces in and go back and finish up the cowl later. Because you do not want to get paint on this plastic pieces where you don't want it. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to touch the cowl. I don't want that. Just to kind of pop in here. This is a the donor car on this one is this 2003 Greg Biffle Granger car. And if you notice, see these little spots here where they're kind of mounting spots for the windshield and stuff. I didn't have to drill them out; they just popped off. So, way back in 2003, this was something that was something that we see today. All right, so that's on. I wanted to make sure that this window here popped through. It wasn't popping through, so sometimes you have to get this piece set in first, and then the rest of the windshield goes in, like so. And then the back, again, I'm trying to be super careful not to touch the painted area. And, yeah. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that's in place. And this is what I use to glue it back into the spot. It's a Testors Clear Parts Cement. And it says window maker. I haven't had any success using it as a window maker. But it works well. It dries clear over time. Let's see if I can do this so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I glue it, keeping it away from the window. See a little speck. Okay, and just let that sit. So that's I don't really have a good resting place for this. Yeah, I do over here. I'm gonna set it over here. Okay, and once that dries, I'll be able to put this all back together. And let me set this over here out of the way too. Still going to let that sit. I'll show you. So I went ahead and, oops, let me put the lid back on this. So yesterday I had drilled this out, this Matt Kenseth McDonald's car, and I went ahead and separated the other one. And I dipped that earlier, and it didn't really come clean too well. I'll show you. So I re-dipped it again, so you can see there's a lot of like little blue in there, and it just didn't come clean very well at all. And so I decided I'll dip it again before I wire brush it and use the steel wool. So I just take my X-Acto knife and scrape this stuff off. And it doesn't look like it got much more than the first time I ran it through. So that's either a sign that this car's a pain. Sometimes the donor car just doesn't want to come clean. I don't know if it's called paint or whatever product they use to apply the color to the car. Just doesn't release very well in all the spots. Or it could be that my stripper is getting to the end of its useful life and I need to dump that out and put new in there. And so that's probably what I'm going to do, because you can see how brown this is. Yeah, that's probably the case, because this is not really coming clean at all too well. So you can see how I kind of work on, I've got 6 cars or so that I'm kind of working on, 7 cars at the same time. I'm in different stages of the car, so I can go from kind of like one to the other. And like I like to say, just keep moving things forward. Yeah, this will need some significant wire brushing and steel wool, and probably some more scraping of this knife into the little crevices that the stripper wasn't able to remove. You can see that front, it's pretty bad. Still a lot of blue on there that needs to come off. Okay, let's take this over to the sink. Hey, I didn't drop the camera this time. Last time I was over there, I think I dropped the camera twice. No, I don't do any editing of my videos. I pretty much take a video, run it, as you probably have seen, and you get get on video everything I do. I don't edit anything out. So I probably could save you guys some time to focus on various things, but I don't know, it's just easier for me to take the video, let it run, and then upload it when I'm done. So yeah, I'm going to need to do some serious wire brushing of that to clean that up. Alright, my hands are clean. Let me get the microsole, and I'll show you how I do this on this Janiking car. So this stuff is really potent. So what I like to do is get some on the brush, and I'll actually just put it in with the water here. Sometimes I'll paint it right on. Sometimes I'll just apply it right onto the decals that's on the car. But in this case, I kind of want to dilute it a little bit. Again, just kind of let it sit. And this is dry. Alright. Alright, so actually, I'm going to get a little bit on here, and I'm going to put it right around that little bump. And the reason I'm going to do this one first, because wherever this ends up, I'll put the other one over here in that spot. Alright, so that's on. I want this to be over along the side because there's a side piece that goes right here, which is a little weird. 2000 is a 2002. You can see how that goes like that. Probably shouldn't have set that on just yet, but okay. Okay, I had applied these a little bit earlier today, so I got to be careful when I push on this. I don't want to move anything I've already done. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I put the brush in my mouth to hold it instead of setting it down. So this is kind of where it's nice not to have really long fingernails either. Yeah, sometimes it sticks to your finger and it lifts off a spot. Make it a little bit of this. Now the other thing is, you know, I can get this into place. As long as I get it into place, I can kind of just let it sit and dry into place. And then I can come back a little bit later and work it some more to get it to mold. Because not only do I need this piece to mold around that, but I need to work this side piece because it's covering that stinking you know, fuel door or fuel inlet, whatever you want to call it, before they put the, whoops, come on. Alright, so that's going to have a little seam there. Just a little seam. Alright, let me get some more microsole. It's not kind of folded in like I want it to. Okay. So I want this straight. Don't move. Don't move on me. Stay in there, please. Okay. Alright, so you come over here a little bit more. There you go. Okay, so I got that in place. I'm just going to let it sit. Now that that's in place, let's get these other ones in. You can see how I kind of want to get those lined up. Get this Janet King in here. I still have to paint the spoiler. So this is going to be a little weird. I don't want this crown to go up onto the where the spoiler gets painted black. I want to keep that down, so it's kind of going to be at a little bit of an angle there. Okay. And then this goes over here. Yeah, okay, you can see where I kind of screwed up here. See this piece? The Janet King. I had set that on there previously. It's too far back. And this little piece is going to cover it up. So I'm going to need to move this back this way a little bit. I probably should have done this first and then put this piece on. So, yeah, so I'll have to do that. But this gives you an idea of kind of what you run into. And you can always move stuff around before your stuff sets. But alright guys, I'll keep working this. We'll see you in the next video.